Power Book 4 Force, Episode 2, King of the Goddamn Hill. Opening scene. While Tommy is reminiscing about Keisha, we see somebody spray up an empty bar. We don't know whose bar it is until eventually Tommy's brother calls. Tommy's brother ends up being the owner of the bar that got shot up. And because he has nobody, he calls Tommy. Within this conversation, his brother basically says that he's gay, which came out of nowhere.
I want to piece my way through this to make sure I'm not misinterpreting, because he tells us a lot in this conversation that they're having at the bar initially. So he does tell him that he's gay, he has an ex-husband. So right now it's just, side story. They blow right through it. There is a part later on when they're speaking at the grandmother's house that was a little interesting. But, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, just another real life person. It doesn't seem to be a sticking point of the series.
Okay. Tommy offers his brother $10K to fix up the place. Do you think that at some point this will become Tommy's truth? It'll be his way to clean up the money at all?
First of all, not him throwing him the $10,000 back. You know what? This ain't even gonna make a dent. So just take the whole 10 stacks back. Like I don't need it. I need much more than 10 stacks, so you keep it. The hell?
I mean, there seems to be a pattern of returning the money with him, which...
dog, if I was in need of $100, you think I would turn down 20? It made no damn sense.
No, not at all.
Maybe. Potentially. I'm thinking the fact that his shop is getting shot up is probably because he's not paying protection. Mm-hmm. So, that seems like a win-win. You help me, I help you.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's likely.
Walter Flynn seems to be sick because he's coughing up and doing all sorts of weird shit. Vic knows and wants to tell Claudia, big sis Claudia, and Walter doesn't want that to happen because he wants Vic to step up to the position of running the family. Oh my God, bro. Keeping Claudia completely out of it.
Yeah, I am not going to enjoy this part of the series all season. I can just go ahead and say that now. Because it's just a very antiquated, way of going about this. It's just not... The arc that they're setting up for, the daughter is not appealing because it's been... oh, my God. It's very generic. Mm-hmm. Daughter is not... Older daughter, at that, is not chosen to ascend, to carry on the legacy of her father simply for the fact that she's a woman. You know what I mean? Even though she's the smarter... fiercer leader. Mm-hmm. It's just somebody's going to end up removing somebody because that is the going theme of power. I can go ahead and call that now. Someone's going to end up removing someone. Slight twist. It may be the woman this time. But it's just that part of it is hard to get into. The most interesting thing about this series so far is watching Tommy build, because I think a lot of OG Power fans, our version of Tommy was the loose cannon. He had skills. Yes, he was useful in certain spaces, but it was always something. You always had to keep tabs on Tommy.
He was always overly aggressive and not kind of thinking things through for the most part.
At all. And it does seem like this is a more calculated, slower to jump type Tommy. He looks a lot more like Kanan. Yeah. Not as maniacal or conniving, but he's definitely, he sees the whole board. Like he said in the episode, he sees things that other people don't, and he slow plays it. He's not jumping at things. So that part of it has been the most interesting thing to me, is watching him being able to navigate some of these situations without breaking them, But the main arc with the Flynns, it's hard to get into it, man, because even homeboy Flynn, you know what I'm saying? The son, his star-crossed lovers from rivals parts of the town, storyline. I don't want to see West Side Story in goddamn Power. It's very generic. It is.
So if we're going to go there, I kind of see where this is going to go. At least as far as Tommy and the Flynn family. Because I believe that Tommy is probably going to end up doing business with Big Sis Claudia. Mm-hmm. because she's going to need a way to kind of distribute the drug that Walter Flynn clearly wants no parts of. Mm-hmm. And so she'll need somebody from the outside to do it. And that's going to cause even more tension with Vic because, you know, Vic and his family don't want to do any kind of business with whatever drug that Claudia's got. Mm-hmm. Add that to the fact that Tommy is also...
got his chick.
You know? So...
got his chick. Plus,
I see that
Tommy being around threatens the son's position.
Yeah.
And just in general.
Yeah.
Because now it can't be excused that, oh, well, Claudia's stronger, but she's a woman, so she must be... She has to work the ledger. But Tommy is a viable option. So his mere presence threatens his position.
True. Here's where that also sets itself up for future seasons. Because in that same scene that we just discussed, Walter lets it be known that, yeah, he's the guy in Chicago, but there's a whole Ireland syndicate behind that.
I was wondering when the IRA was going to come into this. Right? Like, if you watch Sons of Anarchy at all, you know the IRA, Irish mob, like, run guns, drugs, all kind of stuff. They would be, if there was an Irish situation or operation in your area, in your vicinity, is probably somehow connected to the IRA, you know, organized crime-wise. So I was wondering where they were going to come into play in this, like you mentioned last week, strong Irish roots throughout Chicago. That's who I think he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? He's telling him, like, look, they like how I run shit. They like how I do business. One of the things that is carried over, you know, in this show from what I've seen in Sons of Anarchy is that they're very particular in what drugs they deal. And they're very, shall I say, antiquated in their operations. They do not...
would make sense.
They don't deal in designer drugs. They don't deal in intravenous. You know what I mean? They just powder.
But that's going to limit you, at least as it pertains to Walter Flynn and what they've got going on. You know, how it pertains to Ireland specifically, that's a whole other thing. But in Chicago, where people are doing some of these designer drugs, that's going to limit them quite a bit. And that's... I guess where Claudia comes in.
Yeah, that's where she's coming from. It's like this is a younger, you know, more, you know, vibrant town. Like people, you know, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking to do biker heroin. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to do biker meth outside the club.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see where it goes because I think that if they do end up removing Papa, which is likely, now they're going to be dealing from both directions. And so if that happens, they'll need Tommy because Tommy ain't worried about shit. He's not worried about anything. He went up versus Lobos.
Right.
He went against Lobos. He went against the Serbs. You know what I'm saying? He's not really worried about, well, you know, I mean, it's the IRA, the big bad Irishman. I think he'll make a couple leprechaun jokes and go on about his day.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
for the most part.
done that.
Couple of leprechaun jokes. Okay, so speaking of aggressive Tommy that we know from OG Power, we get an appearance from Liliana from all the way back in like season 1.
Explain to me who Liliana is, because
I can't remember the full extent of it, but I remember, like I can't remember why they wanted to kill her, or Tommy specifically wanted to kill her, but then Ghost said no, don't kill her, and Julio sent her away. And she had a scar on her face. I remember she had a scar on her face. And so that was the thing that, like, if he saw that, he would find her and kill her. So he sent her away instead of killing her for Ghost, because Ghost didn't want to kill her. So I guess he sent her away to Chicago. And now all of a sudden here she is.
Yeah, when he was like, it didn't pick it up to me, because the only person I remember, well, not the only one, but the one that stuck out to me in terms of like person that Ghost let him live that maybe he shouldn't have let live that long, and then Tommy ended up cleaning it up, was Maria Suarez. But that wasn't her. And I was like, wait, who the fuck is Liliana? So I had forgotten all about any of that.
It was season 1 shit, so like,
okay, yeah.
And the only reason I remember season 1 is because I looked it up, because I was like, I remember Ghost not wanting to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't remember, and then I saw it was from season 1. I got to go back and actually see specifically what the story was, but yeah, I remember Tommy like really wanting to kill somebody, and Ghost is like, nah, and then Julio sent her off. So, you know, a little blast from the past, but like I said, she has even more connections that we'll talk about later on. So Maya meets with Vic, and it's clear that he is in love with her Lady Marmalade.
Okay, gotta stop this.
Vic is willing to essentially betray his entire family for her, and she doesn't believe any of it.
There's something off about this relationship, because for me, even if it was the reality of like, just understand that, like, you know, your family will never let this work, and you know, they'll follow us wherever we go. If it's only that, then I feel like it wouldn't be so quick or easy to jump in with Tommy. You know what I mean? Like, if it was only the family thing, then it wouldn't be so quick to start up anything.
She'd probably try to fight for the relationship.
Yeah, you know, or at very least, even if she wanted to break up, I don't feel like immediately she would be like throwing herself at Tommy like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's something else between them two that's not right. It's not just the family, and she just hasn't told him yet, whatever it is, because she's too eager to be in front of Tommy's face.
Yeah.
To be losing your long lost love to his life and his family's crime business. It's very weird to see that, like, okay, so clearly they're in love, but she's like, okay, give me your key back. Remember my shit.
Do you think it could be, and I just feel like that'd be too simple, but the fact that it almost seems like Vic is a little too wet behind the ears. Whereas
for everyone, he's too wet behind the ears for his father. He's too wet behind the ears for Tommy. He's too wet behind the ears for old girl. He's too green for
Tommy
everybody.
And the girl and Maya had the conversation after they hooked up, where she at least kind of knows he's been through some shit at the very least. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it seems a little too simple to be the thing, but I mean, do you think maybe that could be what's, I guess, driving her a little bit, or do you think it's something even more than that?
I don't know. They're going to have to get into an argument or a screaming match or something like that. And I assume it's going to happen next episode based off of what he saw in that bar by the end of the episode. But
yeah,
she's going to have to tell us. She's going to have to tell us what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's something more than just, oh, your family doesn't like me. Because, I mean, he's kind of right. Like, after his dad dies, he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
Within reason. Because, again, dealing with the IRA here. So it's gonna come with a little bit of finesse. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as far as Chicago goes, he can do whatever he wants
because he'd be the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily get that.
Tommy pulls up to Diamond Sampson and Lil Bro, but not before Jeremiah plays doorman to prove himself. Tommy returns the drugs and the money to the CBI. Tommy goes to leave, but Jeremiah tries some bullshit and they get into a little squabble. He's Jeremiah. That was literally Jeremiah, the singer. The guy who played like the doorman while they were doing that shit. That was literally
Jeremiah?
That was Jeremiah.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that shit.
Yeah, the guy with like it was like black, but it was like blonde in his dreads. Yeah, or whatever. That's Jeremiah.
So when Tommy was trying to leave back out of the shop
and got into a squabble,
that was Jeremiah.
That was Jeremiah. Dead ass.
Why did he look like that? I'm gonna have to go back and look. When did he get dreads? I'm out the loop, fam. I don't know what anybody looks like anymore. Well, then that's why that scene went down like that. I was wondering why. Like, okay, so you just seen him hand your boss the money, and like he said he was cool and he about to leave. Why the fuck are you still talking? Why are you speaking? Like not Sampson, not homeboy with the Cuban links on. Neither one of them told you to move.
Yeah.
So it like I get what they were trying to set up. They was trying to show like, oh well, you know, the young and dumbs are loyal to bro, but Sampson is supposed to be the guy, whatever. But it was like neither one of them told you to move. So really, you just dumb and disrespectful.
Yeah. Very much so.
But now I get it because it was Jeremiah and he probably just started doing shit.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have held off on him doing something there and then let him get his speaking roles later on in the season.
Later on in the episode or the season.
Because otherwise, I mean, it didn't really need to be there aside for the fact that they needed to show alliance to Lil Bro as opposed to Diamond. And
even that was kind of interesting because you seen them talking about that prior to Tommy coming in, and like bro is just like, yeah, man, I have pawns. Let me use them. You know what I'm saying? I have bodies that are willing to go kamikaze at any moment. Like, just let me do what these young dumb niggas what they want to do.
Yeah, well,
he don't give a shit about them, but that's so true though, man. It's so true. So true.
Young niggas are willing to prove themselves at any cost, which is unfortunate, but we will also probably talk about that later on. After the situation, Tommy and Diamond walk and talk until some essays pull up and kidnap them.
Shut the hell up.
They were some essays, bro.
You know who they were? Remember when Ghost and Tommy first got out of the got from out underneath? It was the first Serb. So they first got got from underneath him before Jason came in, right? Yeah. Remember the brother and sister from the cartel that pulled up on them?
Yes,
they were. So the ones we saw in this episode were like them junior.
Interesting you bring that up.
Bro's Versace jacket was, oh my goodness.
It was hard.
I do not fawn over designer labels, but that shit was heat. That shit was heat. I would wear it every day.
Well, I mean, if you're paying that much for it, I would
every day
expect as much.
To bed, to dinner, everywhere.
Literally everywhere. They pull up and kidnap them. Tommy proves himself in yet another situation where they're in the warehouse. The essays end up giving them a deadline of 3 hours to move some heroin for them.
I'm very confused by them because it's like, we have the resources and the manpower to make you do this. So I'm like, all right, cool. So they in this warehouse, right? And they tell them you got 3 hours to sell these drugs, right? You bring them back here or you die. This is before they went and got Homeboy's brother now. This is before they went and picked him up. So you gave them drugs and told them to come back in 3 hours before you ever had a stitch of leverage to make sure that they came back.
Yeah. Yep.
Or before you knew whether or not they was going to come back and kill your ass. So, like, I'm sitting there in that chair, right? And I got my hands tied up. And they like, yeah, we're going to give you this heroin. And you got 3 hours to sell it or we're going to kill you. I'm like, wait, like, you about to let me leave? With the heroin? And you say, come back in 3 hours. You going to be right here? You going to be right here? Bet. It ain't going to take me 3 hours, bro. Give me 30 minutes.
Oh, my.
Let me get my phone back. Let me get my phone.
Huge plot hole.
These niggas said 3 hours.
I didn't even think about that. That's a huge fucking plot hole.
Like, before they ever went and grabbed his brother, like, whoa. But Tommy wanted to play it straight, and he wanted to get all the information.
Which he gets quite a bit of information. Basically, he goes and meets with a couple of auto mechanics. He even networks with the chick who's running things. He does business with a few Hasidic Jews, which was nuts. So, I mean, he kind of makes some moves with some people, and it kind of seems like he's networking for the most part.
My boy with the pastrami. I'm like, bro, why are you sweating so much?
That was nuts.
Easy, relax.
That was nuts.
Yeah, let me get some of them cinnamon things. Whatever they are, they damn good. I expect that nigga. Like, damn, boy, relax, chill.
Right.
Nervous as hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering the situation.
Dog, but you supposed to be the guy. You're the plug. You the guy. Like, you how you in there? I need a pound of pastrami. Lean. Shalom, brother. Nigga was nervous as hell. He looked like Zeke. Hell. That was Zeke's cousin. That was his kid.
I can see that in that specific situation.
Like, shit.
Tommy also finds out about why and like what the situation was between Diamond and Rojas and what he did. Which kind of explains a little bit of the dynamic between Diamond and Lil Bro.
So was that the phone call? Remember when he was leaving out of jail, right? When he was getting released, homeboy told him, he was like, we're going to let him settle in and then we're going to make the phone call.
Yeah, that
was that the phone call?
I didn't know because that would have been nuts for that
to
be the
Hold on, wait. I hope that wasn't the phone call.
I
hope that was not the phone call.
It could have been.
To make him sell drugs for you? That's what you was letting him settle in for, just so you can come and get him and make him sell heroin for you? I don't think that was the phone call. That can't be the phone call he was trying to make.
Diamond gets into an altercation with a cop, which this whole situation, honestly, is I don't think it's like anything that we've seen in Power specifically. Mm-hmm. Power doesn't really deal in literally very deep topics. Mm-hmm. But in the situation, Diamond is sitting in a car. He's waiting for Tommy to come back out, which he's doing a drug deal. He should obviously be a little frantic. Mm-hmm. He says that he's going to keep his hands on the wheel instead of making any kind of movements because he doesn't want the cop to do anything crazy. The cop then pulls out his gun on Diamond because he's being insubordinate and not actually doing what the officer is telling him to do. That's when Tommy pulls up at the perfect time to play the white privilege card and get Diamond out of that situation. Any thoughts on that scene at all?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it that much up until the point where, and it wasn't even so much as a problem. It was so much as like it just irritated me to see Tommy come in there and then all of a sudden he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now he laughing and joking. Oh yeah, you're a long way from New York. Bitch, you was about to shoot my friend. Now I get it. You know, Tommy, he had to play it cool. They had drugs. They had money. They had guns. They just got to get out of there. I understand it why Tommy played it the way he did. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised the cop escalated it the way he did. Did you catch the part where after he left, he was like, man, I spent 15 years in the pen, and that was the one thing that they taught me was to never take my hands off the fucking wheel. And that shit almost literally got his ass shot. The one thing that you actually learned in prison literally almost got you killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some nuts.
By the way, if he said 15 years, that's nuts because I said 15 years after the whole Jordan. Remember he had the Jordans, and I was like, yeah, that must be.
Yeah, there you go.
Must make it 15 years.
Bang.
It's kind of nuts. Tommy and Diamond end up saving Lil Bro from the situation because, you know, the SAs end up picking up Lil Bro and kidnapping him as well.
Hold there for a second. We didn't actually see them do shit. We seen him pull up to the spot with his eye all swole up and a little trickle of blood, but we didn't actually see anything.
Interesting.
Think maybe there's some cooperation there, potentially.
Possible.
Maybe Lil Bro sees that, well, I can't really truly lead until he's out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, early threads. It's only second episode. It's kind of early for that, but
that is definitely a possibility.
Possibility.
For sure. When they pick up Lil Bro, after they pick up Lil Bro, Tommy and Diamond have a conversation about, obviously, Tommy clocking literally everything about the city, as well as picking up on Diamond's actual name, David Sampson, which proves that, obviously, Tommy is being aware of his surroundings, taking in everything, being a little bit more calculated. You know, I just thought that was interesting, which we've already kind of discussed.
more, you know, character progression for Tommy for sure.
Tommy goes over to his grandma's house where his brother's waiting. Tommy offers his brother some cash, again ignoring the cash this time. His brother shows Tommy a tape of when he was younger. His brother also then tells him about his son that he has, which is about 14 years, and then we kind of see the son in action. Any thoughts on the son and any thoughts on that whole situation?
Yeah, so here's the part that's a little to me, right? So he tells him when we're having a conversation about Casey. He's like, how did she ever leave her son, you know? He was like, you don't know what you would do. He said, I do because I fought for my son. When I got out, now I took that as jail. It could have been the military, maybe. Usually when niggas say I got out, they talking about I out.
Especially in Power.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know. So when I got out, I fought for him as hard as I could. But his mother wouldn't allow it. Mm-hmm. So just so I'm building this timeline correctly. Had a son, had a wife, went to jail. got out, fought for your son, got a husband. Are y'all telling me that this man turned gay in jail? They're trying to tell me he got turned out in jail. Is that the story that y'all telling me? That this man had a husband, had a wife, and a son that he loved and that loved him back, and that he wasn't allowed to see him anymore because he got turned out in jail? Is that the story? Is that it? I could be misinterpreting. Maybe I missed something.
But or maybe there's more that we'll learn later on.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the timeline that they just fleshed out for me.
Yeah.
Is that he, by choice or otherwise, became gay in between going to jail and getting out.
Tommy puts Rojas's minions in the trunk while sipping on some JMO. Real one. He then lights the car on fire, ending with a badass scene of him walking away from the scene. Tommy then proves to the CBI that he's about that life because he took Homeboy's Versace jacket to show them, like, yeah, I did them niggas in.
He left the bottle.
He did? Oh, damn. Yeah, he did.
Left the bottle on the ground.
Damn.
He hasn't turned around completely.
Yeah.
Still a little careless. He left the bottle sitting there.
Unfortunately.
That wasn't great.
No. Tommy's back at the bar with Maya, a.k.a. Olivia. Vic sees and is visibly upset. Small note, Maya lets it be known that she wanted to start a Jamaican restaurant, which she's Jamaican. And Vic is very clearly beefing
and then Tommy asked her why you sold the fuck out to the Irishman then.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So
I had to do what I had to do. You want me to take care of that for you?
That was a pretty good Tommy. They discuss a few more things, but Tommy ends up kissing her, which Vic sees. Vic is yet another man who doesn't understand that he needs to understand when his girl has chose up.
Yeah, man, he about to turn in. Well, you know what? I'll give him a little bit of credit because he was clearly pissed, but he didn't turn into fucking Officer Rage Cop.
Yeah,
like he did over Carrie. I want to see how he's gonna handle this because he didn't get enraged. You would expect to see most.
It was boiling inside, but he showed restraint.
Yeah, so I want to see how he handles it, especially because we can see in the previews for next week, they're gonna come face to face, not only with them two, but with his sister and his father as well. So,
speaking of which, I think it's cool that this episode focused so much on Tommy building the relationship and building trust with the CBI, because I felt like with it showing so much of Tommy on that aspect of it, they got to show how he's going to either build relationships or trust or further remove himself from the Irish situation. Mm-hmm. So obviously the focal point of next episode will probably be Tommy and how he deals with that situation.
Here's my question though. Tommy says that he's in that city when he was talking to David or Sampson, whatever.
David
Diamond Sampson. David Diamond Sampson.
That's that's it. You got it.
He tells him, like, I'm trying to get as much money here in Chicago as I possibly can. What is the end game? Like, money for what? To maybe track down a criminal informant?
Could be.
I wonder what his ultimate end goal is, because maybe at some point through this journey of him accumulating this wealth, he begins to have a different vision. You know, he begins to have a different goal than just searching the ends of the earth for Tasha. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in what his end game is.
That was weird. Like, he was just like, yeah, I'm looking to get some cash, but we never realized what he would possibly want that for. Mm-hmm. Specifically, like you seem to have a goal in mind. What's going on there? And
if money was the sole reason, you had something set up in LA. You could have everything you doing right now in Chicago. You could have did to Homeboy in LA and just moved him out of whatever operation y'all had going on. So
yeah,
it's not just money. He does keep saying that there's something about that town that he likes. So this is mom's hometown.
Which, I mean, he's got family. Mm-hmm. So which he had nothing in New York, so that would kind of explain that aspect of it. But anyway, Tommy ends up buying a new spot to stay, complete with a map for him to continue learning the city.
Who was that dude? Did I miss him somewhere?
I don't think so. I think he was just the guy who...
He just literally like knocked on the door and paid him to move out, like with his furniture and shit in there too.
Well, earlier in the episode, Tommy saw this place that had the for lease sign. Mm-hmm. So then later on in the episode, he came back to that same place.
Gotcha.
And was like, yeah, I'm buying this place.
He's a bit of a dick. You can't give me an hour, fam. I can't get my shit.
That was kind of
Can't get my damn toothbrush. What if I got medicine? What about my medication? My cell phone upstairs.
Something. Anything.
Shit. Can I get a pair of drawers for tomorrow? Even if I go stay at the Ritz tonight, I'm going to need something.
You know?
Damn.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Buy a new one.
Tommy then goes back to kill Liliana and fails again. Only this time he finds Liliana also has the drugs with the blue spider package on it. The blue spider indicates that Liliana is moving for the Jimenez cartel.
The Jimenez!
Which is funny that you mentioned the two from earlier. But we know Diego and Alicia got capped. They both got shot.
Did Alicia get... Oh, Jason did her.
But...
Yeah, Jason did her.
If you remember, Alicia was in a relationship with a certain somebody by the name of Cristobal.
She was in a relationship with Cristobal.
So is Cristobal running things now? And
whatever happened? I thought Cristobal died.
I don't think he did. I think he's still alive.
What happened to Cristobal?
He got arrested with Alicia, I remember, at some point. But then I remember she got capped.
Yeah, no, Jason did her in. Diego died in... How did Diego die? They killed Diego, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Ghost and Tommy killed Diego.
Mm-hmm. So I think...
what happened to Cristobal? I forgot all about, bro.
I remember he got arrested with her, but then she got out somehow. I don't remember specifically how she got out.
So now he would be the big dog. Well, but you know what? The Jimenez are a family. They have family, so they wouldn't just... He would have to seize control.
Yeah.
But that's usually what happens in a power vacuum, right? The heads get chopped off and everybody scrambles to try to take the reins over. There's no clear line of succession.
And we don't know what happened in prison.
We don't know what happened in prison.
So
we don't know if he's out of prison. We don't know where the hell Cristobal is at. I literally erased him from my mind.
This has the possibility of being a power, an actual power all in itself.
Universe. Or like a separate, like Power West.
Yeah, if you flesh it out to be so, like an actual power, not like, Raising Kanan's in the past, Ghost is like Power Junior. So it'd be interesting to see how they flesh this out.
I will say this show feels more like a continuation of OG Power. Yeah. Like I know that Ghost is the actual continuation of that storyline. Mm-hmm. But this gives you the feel of how Power used to feel. This is what that show was, as opposed to Ghost being a little bit more of a younger gauged show.
It's Power Junior.
Sure.
Like Nick has Nick Jr. Power has Power Jr. Yeah.
Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this week's episode. Anything else that you found interesting, let us know.
And definitely make sure you check out our Power Review playlist where we kind of discuss literally all the Power shows. Power Book 2 Ghost, Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, and obviously Power Book 4 Force. Make sure you subscribe because we like to review all of the Power episodes, and we'll be here every week reviewing each one.